What is happening? Welcome back to the Past Alive. Thank you all for tuning in tonight for another episode of Turn Back the Clock Tuesday. And this evening we are heading back to the year 1994. I'm very excited to rip into a box. I've wanted to open since I really started this series many years ago. We have a Series 1 box of Topps, chasing after prominent stars, Topps Gold Parallels, Black Golds, and the rookie card of Billy Wagner. Hopefully we'll see one maybe in a gold variation in this box. And this is the monthly Patreon free rip. And very excited for this one. The reason I did not ever go after this box sooner, many years ago, is because these can be very prone to bricking. And I had originally ripped off the cellophane to check the packs beforehand because we don't want a debacle of trying to rip these open and they're all stuck together and they're very loose in there. So that's one thing. If you're opening stuff in the 90s, even the early 2000s, got to be very careful that they aren't bricked up and you're not paying a fortune to rip those open. But this box seems good. Let's get down to business. We got 36 packs inside of here. Each pack has 12 cards inside, and these boxes are around 50 bucks. I think I paid $50, maybe a couple dollars more with tax and shipping, but 50 bucks for a chance for a Wagner Gold. And to relive some memories, when these came out, I was probably 9 years old, almost 10, and was buying a bunch of them. They were 79 cents a pack back in 94. Probably chasing after the Alan Bennis rookie or Brooks Kieschnick in those days. Times have changed. We got Billy Wagner welcomed into the Hall of Fame. We're looking for his rookie. And Jason W., you are first in the top left of this rip. We got Brian Smith, Paul L., and everybody else. Paul L. is at Chick-fil-A right now. Alton's in the house. Says, greetings. What is going on? Alton Cards, Cars, and Guitars. If Mikey G or one of the mods can post a link to Alton's channel, I would appreciate it. But Topps Gold card in every pack. Let's see what we can unearth in 1994 Topps. Many years in the making for me to take a chance to open these, and they are not bricked a tad bit, but no paper loss. So right off the bat, we have some all-stars here. Robbie Thompson and Roberto Alomar's draft picks. I'll probably put that in the top loader back in 94. Jared Horn, what's going on? Mike Willeris is happy Halloween. Fellow cult members, what is going on, Mike? Mark Gubaza, but super cool design. Definitely a little more sleek than the previous year in 93. But very nice cards overall. And of course, they're going to have them flipped upside down every which way. Steve Avery. There's a Bob Wickman. I was pretty stoked on him in the early 90s. And that is our one per pack gold card. Might be a tiny bit of speckles on that one. But I've opened 94 Topps packs that were absolutely horrendous, where pretty much every single card has paper loss or is bricked. So this era in particular, you got to be very careful what you're picking up. So you're not spending a couple $100 for a box that is potentially bricks or cinder blocks even. Mike Timlin, Terry Mulholland is going to end the first pack of 94 Topps. Put those off to the side. Pack number 2 for Jason. So we got feature star cards in here. Might see a Manny Ramirez. Can't remember if he's in Series 1 or Series 2. I used to like those a lot back when I was a kid. Tim Davis. They were very futuristic looking. And look at that. There is Manny. That answers the question right there. I was pretty stoked on that one back in the mid-90s. Might be a few speckles on that one. Ed Smiles, a snowflake parallel. It's definitely this era of Topps holiday snowflake parallels. Bernie Williams. I don't remember these when I was a kid being flipped every which way. There's our gold card of Kevin Stalker showing up. Ryan Thompson, Spanky LaValliere. And the black golds they're about 1 in 72 packs, so 1 in every other box, basically. Hopefully we'll see one in here. Got Robin Yount stuck to Sandy Alomar. Now, the last thing I want to do is try to open 94 Topps and have a hairdryer on standby. So I was pretty relieved when I could feel the cards shifting in the pack. Dead giveaway if you try to do that. It's just one solid piece. So Kelly Wunsch joins the Omen watch list. That's now 3 packs deep and 2 of him to come out. Nigel Wilson. This would have been a card on my want list back in 94. Was really pumped on him ever since he first came on the scene. Joe Girardi really reminds me of a 91 upper deck. Barry Larkin, Melo Rojas. I figure we do this rip a little early tonight just because game 4 is on. I'm sure you guys want to watch it, and I'm going to watch it as well. So last night's game was nuts. I think I fell asleep around 2 a.m., I think in the bottom of the 15th inning. And Tim Mauser, strange green orb on there that I will obsess over off camera. Blast Minor, pretty stoked on him. The Buccos back in this time frame. We got Matt Noakes. Some of these really a little bit tough, but Tyler Green, Matt Noakes is our 1 per pack gold. And Scott Cooper. Trevor Williams and House says, good luck with the rips. I'm looking at getting a new car as my current one is 11 years old and near the end. Trevor, thanks for popping in here, man, hanging out. You should have got my other package today, maybe tomorrow. But all the best with your car hunt. It's not something I've had to do for quite a few years, and I hope I don't have to do it anytime soon, man, because it's not fun. Very stressful, and it's very expensive. There's Manny Ramirez again. Now twice showing up, but very cool subset cards there. Mustang says, not me, trying to find a highlight reel at 11 p.m., not knowing the game was still going. Yeah, it was a pretty intense game there for a while, but then it just became painstaking. And I couldn't convince myself to go to bed until it was over, and I just eventually passed out. Couldn't take it anymore. There's a link to Trevor's channel. Mikey G, thank you very much. I sent you a package yesterday, Mikey. I came across something over the weekend that I thought was pretty neat, and I picked it up, sent it to you yesterday, so you should have it in a few days. Garrett Anderson, our feature star gold of that pack. We got a Biggio here. Robert says, I don't start my new job until December 1st, so I got to watch the full game last night with no pressure of getting up early. That's a great feeling, man. It definitely is. I had to get up early today anyways, but I guess I'm used to being just tired all the time because of it. And now there's our Indiana Jones marathon on as we speak that's on all night, so probably going to be our late one for me as well. Craig Biggio is our gold. So probably the best one we've seen so far as those parallels go. Randy Anor. Franco, Jody Reed, Carlos Garcia, Gold Cup. And Willie Banks. Ending that pack. Mikey, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's nothing crazy. It's a PSA slab, but it was a novelty item that I was like, I wonder if Mikey has that. Even if he does, he might not have it graded. So figured I would pick it up. But hopefully you don't have it already. Nigel yet again. So this is what the Billy Wagner will look like. This will not be gold. It will just say TOPPS gold up here, which is kind of generic. But you can pick up the Wagner gold rookies for not very much money. There's nothing like with of insane value you'll find in here. But if you decide to send it in, if it's nice enough, potentially could be pretty valuable. Looks like Chris Donnells is our gold card in that pack. It's honestly not very often I get to open these. The only time I really open 94 TOPPS is if they're randomly in like a mystery box or something like that. There's Rick Aguilera, Al Osuna, and Craig Paquette. But I don't remember really the cards being all shuffled around like this. Makes them not as fun to open when they're like that. Pack wrappers aren't too great either, as you can tell. Let's see what we find here. Checklist card shows up for the first time. David says, evening, John from Toronto. What's going on, man? Hopefully Toronto can battle back tonight. There's a Melito Perez for Jonathan H., who would probably be very upset it's not the gold parallel. Kevin Robertson. And our gold, Danny Darwin in this pack. Brad Pennington. I like the cursive text, though. I think that's pretty cool. Something that companies weren't really doing back then. Eddie Tompkins, Sears, Robin Ventura, Bobby Munoz, Jim Gott showing off his pits, and Cal Eldred is going to end that freaking pack. 3 remain in the top left. Billy Brewer shows up. Stop pitching to Ohtani, just walk him. Yeah, they intentionally walked him, 3 times last night? That's pretty freaking nuts, but I don't blame them. Do not blame them at all. Yeah, I had a feeling when I woke up this morning, before I even watched the remainder of the game and the highlights, like, Bet you Freeman hit a walk-off, but didn't realize it was going to be the 18th inning. Ron Gant, similar to the 2018 World Series with Boston. They walked it off in Game 3, bottom of the 18th. Jim Abbott, Darryl Boston, our Topps gold card. Was it 4? It's either, regardless, is ridiculous. That's Frank Thomas. I always like that photo, though. Chad Curtis for Topps Jailbreak Collection. Paul L. working on that list. Actually, I think he already has that on his phone. There's a Henderson and Blue Jays attire. Jeff Brantley. Nothing else too notable in that pack. And then there were 2 in the first stack. One of the best World Series games I've seen in decades. That's what Smoltz and the announcers were saying too last night. Very intense game there. Scott Ruffcorn. There's Solomon Torres. Feature stars. I used to like that card. Those motion cards were always really cool. You got Bagwell sliding in there. Used to be pretty stoked on those. Harold Reynolds. Another Henderson. Collation, he's not that great. But we got a Henderson Topps Gold, though. Very shiny. Stick that right on the freaking mantle. Whoa. They hooked us up. 2 gold cards in that pack. Dave Gallagher and Henderson, both back to back. There's the Wild Thing sliding around on the mound. Edgar Martinez. It's not the first time I've seen that, I feel like, with 94 Topps, so they gave us 2 gold cards. There's a John Smiley and Wally Joyner. John Smiley for Ed. Hopefully we'll see one in his stack, which will be coming up at some point here in this box. The last pack. Good luck to Jason. We could find a Billy Wagner in here. Carlos Hernandez, Carlos Quintana. And I was going to say, they just not give us a gold card this pack now? Nope, we got Jeff Innes. Jeff Innes gold is going to end the first stack for Jason in the books. Guess I didn't even have his name on the camera. Put that off to the side. And we will go into the top right. Well, the mentions the past is early tonight. I figured everyone would be watching the game. If I did it at 8:30 the normal time, there'd probably be nobody in here, and then I'd be missing the game myself. To the Ghetto Shuffle. The next participants in this rip. Nothing too crazy out of the first stack yet, but again, it's a pretty cheap release. You can pick this up for less than a Topps Chrome Mega Box. Ed is next in top right. And these are very nice. These pack wrappers are very nostalgic for me. Used to love buying these back then. And they were affordable. Scrape up some change off the school bus floor. Go down to the corner store, Johnny's Market in our case, and buy a pack of 94 Topps, hoping for an Alan Bennis rookie back then. Rich Becker. There's Mike Stanton. Paul F says, hit the 1 of 1 Shohei. You did? In something? So, Rich Becker twice in that pack. Now they're giving us a gold card. Mark Dewey, if you remember his days at the Buccos. Pat Borders. Blast Minor again. Reggie Jefferson. Bud Black. And the last card is Doug Drabeck squeezing one out. Probably prior to drunkenly calling me from the bar at 1 o'clock in the morning in my dreams. Next pack in for Ed. Shaka says, I was busy getting my 420 on back in 94. Michael says, hey, John, first time I've been able to catch you live in months. Well, I'm glad you're able to, man. Welcome. Appreciate you being here and popping in. Marcus Moore, especially because it's an early bird night. It's Trevor Hoffman, early on in his career. Mark Hutton. And Jeff McKnight. Unfortunately, it's not his 91 Topps card, which is super creepy, but that is the gold for the pack. But the curveballs they're throwing us, maybe we'll see another one in here. This, the collation of these is driving me nuts, though, how they're just flipped every which way. It's exactly like early 90s Upper Deck. And Belliard is going to end that pack. Pack number 3, the top right. An update on the Power Cycle debacle as well. Now, I just got an update probably I don't know, an hour or two ago that it's supposed to be delivered tomorrow. So I don't know what the hell happened to it in the last 10 days. It's been lost in oblivion. But it's saying it should be delivered tomorrow. So we'll see what happens with that. Justin Thompson, looks like he cut himself shaving. Tiny bits of paper loss or toilet paper on his face there. There's Bob Wickman, Jeff King, Jody Reed. This is a real interesting photo on the back of there. What the hell is going on there? And that is our gold card. Like someone's thrown at his head, I guess. And he looks pissed about it. It's like before, after. And Frank Viola, Guzman, Aguilera, Tim Wallach, Chad Kruger, his battle cry, and Larry Walker. Always like that photo as well. Space Lizards is what's up, TPIA cult. What is going on, man? Welcome. Floyd fan, what's happening? I also have a prospect card of Jeter in here. This one, we have some names you probably don't remember. Most of us probably don't remember. Stanton Cameron in Double-A. I don't think he ever made the majors. If I don't remember ever hearing that name or saying it in my life. George McMichael. Greg Harris. And Mark Leiter. Lilliquist. What the hell? This is a pretty crazy card. I don't have the cereal box magnifying glass next to me right now, but it's just a crazy looking face on that one. Pedro Martinez showing up here, and it is a gold for Ed. You get a Martinez gold, which is definitely a nice one. Eric Caro, so when you have a 392 card series, it makes it kind of tough to find more prominent players in the one per pack parallels. Kurt Manuel having the time of his life. There's Avi Lopez, piggybacking off Bobby Munoz, and Steve Cook Gold Cup. Ed actually is collecting gold cups. He's got them in a binder, so that one will be going in his PC. Put that off to the side. And it looks like we have Rich Auday peering out at us. Actually, that's Danny Maselli. I don't know why I thought it was Rich Auday for some reason, but creepy vibes on that card. Garrett Anderson, seeing that one again. Nagel. Pat Kelly. There are error cards in the set with no-name players. I know Mark McLemore has a uncorrected error in here in this series. Rich Wilkins, the gold card. Kevin Wickender. Definitely some names I have not said in a very long time in this release. David McCarty. This is kind of a craze for him back then. John Olerud and Lenny Webster is going to end this pack. We have 4 left for Ed. Giambi. This was a pretty decent card back in '94. David Bell, George Arias, Giambi, and Luis Ortiz. Eric Helfano. Don't remember that card ever. I'm calling Mandela effect on that entirely. Or Eric Helfand. I like Helfano better. That weird-ass futuristic text is throwing me off. Eric Helfano. Darren Dalton, his Braveheart mullet flapping in the wind. I love that card. It's sick. Lee Smith. Yeah, definitely some names in here I do not remember. It is terrible, terrible font choice on those. Greg Hibbard is the gold. Scott Erickson. Jose leaned after he betrayed us. Went to the Royals a few years prior to that. Edgar Martinez, Mike Lansing, gold cup for Ed's PC. Alan Mills and his limp-wristed antics. And Jimmy Keys in that pack. Can't take Dutch's freedom. Yankees Lee Smith is a Mandela effect, Floyd fan says. Shadi Afusa's auction tomorrow. Yeah, I definitely plan on doing one tomorrow. I think I have most things ready. Should have some pretty nice cards. I know of an Ozzie Smith rookie that will be up for grabs, and I think a Sandberg rookie will be in there. Some other stuff like that too. Bonds probably definitely have a pack lot and probably a singles lot. Got to get some things ready for it, but there's a good bit that's already put aside. There's Kevin McReynolds, gold. Unfortunately, we cannot see his scum stash in that photo. Back-to-back golds, yet again, Curtis Laskanik. It's weird how that happens. I don't know if they're like trying to hook you up or that was a mistake. There's Kevin Bass for Trevor Williams. Mark Lemke. Craig Grebeck in his yearbook photo there. And Kevin Higgins is going to end that pack. 2 left for Ed in the top right. It's a longer rip than I thought it would be, but I didn't realize that every freaking card was going to be shifted 180. Andy Rice. Looking very depressed in his draft pick card there. Checklist card, Ricky Gutierrez. Tim Scott, Jeff Russell. David Need yet again is a Topps Gold. Would have been a hit for me back then. There's Delino. Puckett shows up for the first time in this rip. Pat Borders. Dave West and Craig Lefferts. Mark Wohlers ends the pack. One more left for Ed. Williams and Boggs All-Stars. Toy Tames, has any new collection buys? No, man. I've gotten some calls. I feel like my calls have kind of dwindled off, but I've had some calls, but nothing too promising. I really haven't looked at a collection since that woman that told me she had 50s and 60s, and I went there and it was like 90 Donruss. That was like, I don't know, probably a week and a half ago. Piazza and Mike Stanley, All-Stars. But I had a call a little bit ago. Alan Watson, a guy that said he had, I forget what he said he had, 70s. And he sent me some pictures, and it was 82 Topps checklists. I was like, I don't want those, man. Benito Santiago was a very interesting thing to try to pawn off on somebody else. Chris Hoyles, Derek May, and Darren Lewis ends its pack. So no Billy Wagner yet. Halfway through the box. Put that stack aside for Ed, and we will swan dive to the bottom half. The bottom left is next. A Ghetto Shuffle activated. Yeah, we still have to do, I've been saying this for literally months now, that vintage collection I picked up. It's just sitting in a tote in my basement taunting me. I still haven't even gone through the whole thing yet. Nate L. I think this is the first rip he's got in. He's been trying to get into a break for a while. Finally managed to make it. So, hoping for something nice in here for you, Nate. Because Billy Ashley would have been a big hit back then. Nate is in the house. Cliff Floyd. Feature star card's a nice one. Webster Jose Mesa. Mesa definitely had some good years. Billy Hatcher, Tomlin, Brady Anderson, Luis Lopez. We have a Hal Morris gold card. Todd Froworth and Melito Perez shows up yet again. Very upset that Jonathan H. is still not in here. Carlos Hernandez ends the first pack for Nate. Gotta find at least one Wagner in here. Come on. Charles Peterson. Card looks identical to the Andy Rice we just saw, like in the last stack. JC says 90 Donruss score. Any super rare 90 Donruss preview set cards only sent to dealers. Yeah, those are pretty sweet. I had somebody call me a little bit ago, and they said that they had an Aqueous Test card, and I'm like, that's pretty sweet. Aqueous Tests are rare, and I don't really ever even come across those. So when I think Aqueous Test, I think of 80s and even 90 Donruss. Calvin Reese, our future star card, and apparently they make Aqueous Test cards in 2025. I think that's what he told me. So did not know that. Eric Caro's gold. Very, very exciting because him and Piazza just got together. So you see that come out on his perplexion there. Let's see what we got. Jeff Russell. Gerald Clark is our gold. Yeah, so that was really interesting. I was like, I didn't even know they made Aqueous Test cards now. So I was like, the old ones are pretty rare, and they're definitely valuable, but Jimmy Key ends the pack. Then he told me that he was, there was some flea market where a guy had like 20,000 50s, 60s, and 70s cards and was trying to sell them for 160 bucks. And I'm like, I'd probably buy that for 160, even if they're all commons. If you have a whole bunch of 50s commons, sounds like a pretty good buy. So I think what he's going to do is he's going to buy them probably this week and then try to sell them to me for way more. Cliff Floyd. No black gold yet. They're about 1 and 2 boxes. Hoffman. We have Mitch Williams. Collation not very great on these, as it wasn't with most things in the 90s. Saberhagen, we got a gold Pokey Reese this time around, though. Floyd Fence says Donruss makes parallels out of all their famous heirs now. They had a one gone parallel card in 2023. I didn't know that. I've never seen that. Kevin Mitchell. Yeah, I didn't even know what sport that he had an aqueous test card in. There's Schilling, and nothing else too promising in that pack for Nate. Pokey Reese is now on the Omen list. Paul L., please put him on at 3 times in like 3 packs. Benji Gill was real stoked on him back then. They did a reverse negative Nolan Ryan pitching lefties. I've never seen that either. Yeah, card companies definitely went back and started to remake some of these old classics, but there's a lot of them out there I have not seen. Kim Batiste, Asuna, Steve Dreyer, Greg Myers, Pat Kelly. Are we gonna have a Drebeck Gold in here? We are. Drebeck Gold shows up. Jim Abbott ends the pack. Kurt Schilling for you Bloody Sock fans. Kurt Laskanik yet again. And there's Brooks. Brooks Kieschnick. Would have been real stoked. That's his rookie card. Would have been a pretty decent one to get way back then. I probably should have pulled out a 94 Beckett. I got a whole bunch laying next to me. Let's see if there's one sitting right here in this stack of randomness. I do have one. Well, that's July 93. There we go. There's a random one sitting here. Got January 94. 94 Topps probably wasn't out yet. No. Yeah, I guess I lied to you guys. There we go. There's March. I was organizing these, and they're just sitting on the floor like everything else in my life. But let's go back and see what the best cards were in 94. Black golds were definitely valuable, but we got a lot of arrows and activity happening here. Kevin Stalker was 60 cents. Hot card with some activity on that one. Cliff Floyd was $1 back then. The Brooks Kieschnick was $1, if you see that one on there. That was one of the better ones to pull. Frank Thomas, $1.25. The whole set valued at $15 back in 94. And then they even had a separate section for the Topps gold cards. Thomas, $6. Nolan Ryan, $6. Kieschnick, $3. Alan Bennis was a 30-cent card. Not sure why I wanted it back then, but Billy Wagner was also 30 cents. So pretty interesting. It's very cool to go back and see all of these values and prices. But the Kieschnick was definitely the best rookie to go after back then. You didn't lie. You had one line right next to you. I have proven that many, many times. The ultimate test was, I think, a Taco Bell wrapper. Somebody had thrown that out. Like, I bet you don't have a Taco Bell wrapper sitting next to you, and I actually did. Pretty crazy. We got a gold card of some All-Stars, Glavine and Jimmy Key. And there's that creepy-ass Derek Lilliquist yet again. Looks like he has ketchup all over his mouth. It's freaking me out. Very creepy. Kevin, what's going on, man? Darren Lewis. There's Kevin Tapany. Stump Merrill gum card. Yeah, that's definitely sitting next to me, too, in a pile of absolute nonsense. Jim Gott, Chili Davis, and Doug Jones. He might have ketchup in his beard. I don't know. Tomato. Toy Tane says, bet you don't have a box of rusty car emblems. Well, I can always prove that wrong, too. Here's a random box of rusty car emblems. This further proves that I have literally everything sitting next to me. People that are watching my videos for the first time are like, what the hell is this? What is this circus happening here? Benji Gill. Those emblems are mint. Yeah, I can't bring myself to part with those ever. There's Trevor Hoffman. You certainly don't have a floating card in a snow globe. Well, the thing about that, Dave, Mark Dewey is our gold card, is that I do have a card floating in a soon-to-be snow globe here. The antics of Mike Walkton. Bet you don't have a JC rookie card. Yeah, people are just calling out random stuff. It's crazy because I have everything imaginable sitting next to me. There is a JC rookie card. Jacob Brumfield, our gold card in that pack. Tim Urbani, Pat Listash, a big name from the early 90s. Alvarez, Chad Curtis, Tim Tuffle, and Shaka with the Carmen emoji. We're going to bring Carmen back. Homer Bush on. Humber Bush Auto is sitting here next to me in this pile. I mean, the pile's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I mean, if you ask me for a picture of, like, say, I don't know, the royal family, I got that. That's sitting here. Paul Heron's disc. It's all here. It's all like driven me to the point of madness at the same time. Those are Brooks Kieschnick. The big money card back in '94. And look at that. We finally got a Jeter. And it's for Nate. The Jeter prospect card. A very sweaty Orlando Miller, making me uncomfortable. Lee Smith shows up yet again. Brian Smith is pumped on that picture of the royal family. Matt Meeske, Tony Pena is our gold card in that pack. Jeff King. Alton says his channel has everything. It's Canseco had some weird cards in '94. John Burkett. There's John Smiley. And Mike Muller ends that pack. JC says, as a member in good standing, I request a JC emoji. Maybe we should do that. That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Mess says, how long are your arms have to have all this stuff within reach? They don't have to be that long because it's literally all sitting around me. Like I sit on a throne of junk, essentially. Right in the middle of it. Oh, we're going to get back-to-back Jeters there. But it's at Stanton Cameron yet again. I have to look into that and see if he ever played in majors. Mark Leiter with a weird UFO blemish on there. Armando Reynoso. Gary Redis, our gold card. Hibbard. Roger McDowell. No stranger to interesting and peculiar photos. Peter Gavilia. Dan Wilson. Anderson. Ricky Jordan. And that pack. One more left. Sanford and Jabs. The final pack. We have another Jeter. The Jeter hot stack here. So, Nate, you got two Jeters. You got this weird-looking card. And of Danny Miceli. Hojo shows up. Andy Bennis, the older brother of Alan. We still haven't seen Alan Bennis yet. Tim Raines, Sean Berry, Bud Black. There's a Mark Grace. First time seeing that one. And Dean Palmer having the time of his life. Ending that stack. The Throne of Junk. Mark says I had a stripper once. Asked once if she could sit on it. Nate L. in the books. We move on to the final portion of the box. Space Lizard said, this is always a good time. I'm glad that you feel that way, man. I'm glad that everyone does. Or mostly everyone does. At least the people watching. I would hope. Final stack. Jason E. His first rip Jason E's been in quite a while. If he's in here, I always had Mark Grace cards randomly set aside for him, but I'd only send him a package maybe like once a year, and they would get lost somewhere amongst the throne of junk. Stanton Cameron yet again. That card is pissing me off. There's Giambi. Roger Pavlik. Dog Good. Interesting photo they chose for him. Eric Anthony. So at least seeing some different collation finally. Here's our gold card. Actually two gold cards in this pack. What is that, the third or fourth pack in this box? So they've given us two. Jim Abbott and Lee Smith yet again. First pack in the books for Jason. Paul F. says, need a Jerome Walton. That would really spruce up this rip. Mark Thompson. Anthony Young. Jeff Ennis. Kruger Myers. JT Snow Gold Cup. Jeff McKnight. Is it going to be another gold for him? It is not. Shane Mack. At least the collation on the golds are pretty decent. I don't think we've really got any duplicates yet for those. Well, this is, you sit on a throne of junk and broken promises. Someday those promises might be fulfilled, but do not hold your breath. There is that prospects card yet again. And George Arias looks real bummed out in that photo, as does Andy Rice. This literally looks like the basement from the very ending scene of the Blair Witch Project. In fact, I'm convinced that that's actually Andy Rice standing in the corner of that scene. Sherrod Williams, there's Tim Scott. Johnson, first time seeing that one. There's a Piazza Gold Cup. That's a good one. The first card of the set. Man-wearing. Doug Jones, Bob McDonald. And here's our gold. Scott Cooper. Our gold is Brad Pennington. And in that pack. Michael Earth says TPI after dark before dark. Toy Tam says TPI, the pile is awesome. One of them says, who is Andy Rice? I think a lot of people were asking that question this evening. Scott Ruffcorn was definitely stoked on him back then. Paul Sorrento for Paul L. I'm sure he's probably furious at that card. Robert, what's going on, man? Jeff Nelson. There's Olerud. Pat Lestache. Sandy Alomar. And our gold is going to be Dave West. Stalker, 60-cent card back in 94. Put that in a freaking top loader. Thomas Howard ending that pack. JC says, the Blair Witch Project. When a camcorder and some friends could make a movie for $100. Pretty crazy. It was kind of a crazy movie when it came out back then. I remember being creeped out by it. There's Andy Rice again for Wally Moon. And first time seeing Ray McDavid. Sandberg, always liked that one too. That was always a cool card. Let's see what else we can find in here. No freaking Billy Wagner. The last stack. It looks like we got a gold. And we got a black gold. Check that out. The first one in 72 packs. This one's going to have a few specks of paper loss on it, but it's Randy Johnson. Griffey also in this series, but very nice looking cards. Johnson, number 10 of this 44 card insert set. And I guess the text actually is in gold. There's a couple Wagners on eBay that says Topps Gold up here, and it's just black font. It's very interesting. But Alan Bennis, that would have been a pretty damn good pull for me back in 94. Bob Ojeda, Ben Rivera ends that pack. That's not paper losses or bird feathers. It's a good way to look at it. Penny Sleeve Steve says, the big unit, as someone would call him. Indeed, that person would. Indeed, they would. A couple all-star cards here. Williams and Boggs. There's a Ripken and Blauser. Jason Beret, Shane Mack. Steve says, are we ever going to see the search for No Name on Front again from the 90 Topps? I hope so, man. I hope that we do. It has been put on hiatus until I can find boxes for a less ridiculous price. I got a Hall of Famer gold here. Alan Trammell shows up. We saw Biggio earlier. Now Alan Trammell, David Wells, Phillips, and Rod Beck, a.k.a. Ron Jeremy. Shane O'Mac. Got 3 packs left of this rip. With no sign of a Wagner rookie yet. Ray McDavid. Tony Longmire. It's a name I have not heard in a very, very Longmire time. Lance Blankenship. We have Craig Lefferts. I feel like we could put so many guys on the Omen list after this box. Tim Raines, Moises Alou. Unfortunately, it's not the 90 score Moises Alou because I have the majority of those in the world. Brian Harvey, sweet looking card though. Tyler Green, gold. It was sweet until I saw 2 of it in the same pack. Now I'm over it. Todd Stottlemyre and John Flaherty ends that pack. And then there were 2 for Jason. No Mark Grace in his stack yet, but maybe one will turn up here in the next 2 packs. He probably has it regardless. Ripken and Blauser, Robbie Alomar, and Robbie Thompson, Scott Fletcher, Candy Yachty. Yeah, if the boxes weren't $70 for 90 Topps, I would still be buying them. I can still find them here and there. I come across them randomly. If I find them for like $50 or less, I'd pick them up. But for $70, it's way too much for 90 Topps. David McCarty is our gold. So, Deion Sanders. It will be back, though. Just on a break for now. Last pack of this rip. Ground-penetrating radar that can locate your name on front. There's Tony Longmire yet again. Can we find a freaking Wagner rookie in here? It's crazy. Tim Davis. Seen a lot of dupes and no Wagner rookie. Bill Wirtz. Gold Cup of JT. Oh, we freaking found it in the very last pack for Jason. I can see it already, and it's a gold card. Wow. To not even find the regular base card. Kevin Stalker, and they hooked us up. They gave us 2 Topps golds in this pack. One of them being Billy Wagner with no paper loss. There is the card we were chasing, and it's the gold parallel. Very, very cool stuff. Jason E., you got it, man. Number 209. Wagner rookie gold. Pretty freaking awesome. Was not expecting that at all. I thought we weren't even going to find the regular base. We end up finding the parallel. Absolutely awesome. Congrats on that pull, Jason. Not like a crazy high dollar pull, but If you send that in and end up coming back at 10, it would be worth a big fat chunk of change. That ends our 94 Topps rip. And on a good note, you want to buy a box? These are about $50, so it doesn't break the bank, and it's fun. You might find some inserts. You might find a freaking Wagner Gold, and I cannot believe that they weren't stuck together, at least not very badly. So I'm thinking we may go revisit some other releases from this era. I've always wanted to open 94 Score. Those are very notorious for bricking. And maybe some Pinnacle, 95 Pinnacle. A lot of cool inserts can come out of that, but very, very prone to bricking. So we'll see what next month brings. But hopefully we'll be back tomorrow night for an auction around probably around 8:30. But we'll wait and see as far as that goes. And hopefully a collection video here the next couple of days of that vintage stuff I picked up months and months ago now. So thank you guys all for watching. Enjoy game 4, and hopefully I will see you back tomorrow night.